Hello, fellow TV and film fanatics. I'm Greg, and I make recommendations for TV shows and movies you can stream right from the comfort of your own home. And October has been stacked with tons of new shows and new seasons hitting all the big streaming services. We're getting action, adventure, comedy, drama, even some sci-fi, but mostly some haunting horror titles, leading us straight into the Halloween season. So as always, stop mindlessly scrolling, stop wasting your time, and let's jump in and check out this list.
What shocks you most about him? How did he do it?
First up on our list today is the third installment of Netflix's hit true crime anthology series, Monster, the Ed Gein story. This brand new season premiered on Friday the 3rd with all 8 episodes dropping at once. This time the focus shifts from previous subjects to the chilling life and crimes of Ed Gein, the convicted murderer and grave robber whose grotesque acts in rural Wisconsin during the 1950s inspired some of horror's most infamous villains, including Norman Bates from Psycho, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Buffalo Bill from The Silence of the Lambs. The series transports us to Plainfield, Wisconsin, where Gein lived as a seemingly harmless recluse on a decaying farm, but beneath that quiet exterior was a man consumed by isolation, psychosis, and a disturbing obsession with his domineering, deeply religious mother, Augusta. This season aims to go beyond the headlines and the horror, providing a nuanced, unflinching look at who Ed Gein really was. It doesn't just recount his crimes, it explores how those crimes helped shape the cultural phenomenon of the celebrity serial killer. It examines our collective fascination with evil and the way Gein's story blurred the line between true crime and pop culture mythology. The cast lineup is impressive. Charlie Hunnam takes on the lead role as Ed Gein. For fans of Sons of Anarchy or The Gentleman, this transformation will be fascinating to watch. Hunnam has described his portrayal as a layered, all-encompassing version of Gein, one that dares to explore the humanity behind the monstrosity. Joining him are acclaimed actors Laurie Metcalf, Tom Hollander, and Olivia Williams, along with a few other familiar faces that elevate the storytelling. The Monster anthology has already been a major success for Netflix, and following the first 2 seasons, anticipation for this chapter is sky high, and honestly the timing couldn't be better. This dark, binge-worthy series lands just in time for Halloween, making it the perfect choice for anyone craving something eerie and atmospheric. That said, fair warning, this season dives into some extremely disturbing subject matter. Ed Gein's crimes are among the most horrifying in American history, and this show won't shy away from the unsettling details. It's not for the faint of heart. Expect an intense, graphic, and emotionally heavy viewing experience. But if you're drawn to true crime storytelling or you're looking for something haunting to binge during spooky season, the Ed Gein story might just be the perfect choice. If you're not here for the haunting and gory Halloween options, then maybe our next pick will be more your style. This is Nero the Assassin that arrived on Netflix Wednesday, October 8th, which is shaping up to be a fantastic alternative. This one is a swashbuckling action-adventure series set in 1504 in southern France. It follows a ruthless and cynical assassin whose life takes a sharp turn when he's betrayed by his master and forced to go on the run from deadly enemies. During his escape, he's unexpectedly reunited with his daughter, who he abandoned at birth. Now hunted by dark forces, father and daughter are thrust into an epic journey across war-torn France, joined by a ragtag group of companions. What follows is a sweeping quest for vengeance and redemption as Nero faces an impossible choice: save himself or save his daughter, and perhaps the fate of the world itself. Everything I've read describes this as an adventurous, bittersweet, and rousing historical drama, but from the trailer we can already see the makings of something special with high-stakes action, stunning visuals, and an intriguing historical setting across 16th century France. It's a refreshing change of pace from the typical modern-day assassin or spy thriller. Now, I can't say this for certain, but based on the early buzz, Nero himself won't be your traditional hero. He's described as ruthless and cynical, and his journey with his long-lost daughter promises a story layered with emotion, redemption, and self-discovery, all woven through intense, fast-paced action. The only real concern, that reunited assassin and long-lost child plotline has been done before. So the hope here is that Nero the Assassin delivers enough originality and heart to keep it from feeling too predictable. So if you're looking for a bold international action series to balance out all the spooky stuff this month, Nero the Assassin looks like one worth keeping on your October watch list.
On behalf of the commanding general of this base, I hereby welcome you to Marine Corps Recruit Depot. Now get the off my goddamn boss!
Oh dear.
Another interesting option on our list is this brand new 8-episode comedic drama series that dropped on Netflix on October 9th, and this is Boots. And once again, we have to love Netflix's classic all episodes at once release, which means this one's a quality binge option right from the start. Boots is based on the memoir The Pink Marine by Greg Cope White, and it also happens to be one of the final projects executive produced by the late legendary Norman Lear. That alone gives it some serious credibility. The series delivers an offbeat, irreverent take on the coming-of-age stories, was set against the high-stakes backdrop of the 1990s United States Marine Corps. It follows Cameron, played by Miles Heiser, who most probably know from 13 Reasons Why. And in this one, he is a directionless young man who impulsively enlists in the Marines alongside his best friend, Ray. Now here's where things get really interesting. It's the early 1990s, and being openly gay in the military was still strictly illegal. That creates the central tension of the show, as Cameron and his fellow recruits face both the literal and emotional landmines of boot camp. From what I've seen, Boots does a great job mixing grit, humor, and heart. It captures the intensity of Marine life, but filters it through a sharp, witty, and often heartfelt lens. It's about identity, belonging, and the bonds we form when life tries to strip everything else away. And let's not forget the nostalgic 90s vibe. The trailer shows off a killer soundtrack, vintage fashion, and throwback slang that just nails the era. You can practically feel the mix of chaos and charm from that decade. So if you're looking for something a little lighter this October, Boots looks like one you'll definitely want to check out for yourself.
With a down plane used to move inmates around the country. This is their one shot at freedom.
My fourth pick on today's list is a 10-episode action thriller coming to Apple TV+, and this is The Last Frontier that dropped on October 10th. It's set in the cold, rugged barrens of Alaska, a dramatic and unforgiving backdrop that instantly sets the tone. The story follows Frank, played by Jason Clarke, the lone United States Marshal responsible for keeping the peace in a quiet, isolated in the corner of the state. But that peace is shattered when a prison transport plane crashes deep in the wilderness, freeing dozens of dangerous inmates into the frozen wild. As Frank scrambles to protect his small town from this sudden wave of chaos, he starts to realize the crash might not have been an accident at all. He uncovers evidence that this disaster could be part of something much bigger. It might be the calculated first step of a far-reaching, devastating plan with international consequences. Jason Clarke leads the cast here, and he's joined by some really impressive names. Simone Kessel from Yellow Jackets, Haley Bennett from The Magnificent Seven, and the lineup also includes Dominic Cooper, Alfred Woodard, and even Johnny Knoxville makes an appearance. And behind the camera, the creative team is just as strong. The series comes from John Buckenkamp, the creator of The Blacklist, and Richard Dovidio, who wrote The Call. That combo guarantees a gripping, conspiracy-driven story filled with twists and tension, plus Sam Hargrave, the director of Extraction, serves as both executive producer and director, so you know the action scenes are going to be next level. The concept alone feels very cinematic, like one lawman hunting violent escapees through the Alaskan wilderness, battling both man and nature in an environment where survival itself is the enemy. And honestly, I'm really excited to see how Apple TV Plus uses that Alaskan frontier setting. The visuals look breathtaking, the tension feels brutal, and the isolation adds that perfect layer of unease. And of course, it's Apple TV Plus. You already know their track record for high quality production and massive budgets. If The Last Frontier keeps up the same level of quality we've seen from their other recent hits, this could easily be one of the standout thrillers of the fall season.
Oh my God! You're disgusting! These are my work clothes!
Next is a laugh-out-loud comedy disguised as a corporate conspiracy thriller. This is The Chair Company that landed on HBO Max on Sunday, October 12th, and this one is an absolute must-watch if you're a fan of Tim Robinson's wild, awkward, and brilliantly absurd humor. The series is created by and stars Tim Robinson, who is the same comedic genius behind I Think You Should Leave, Friendship, and The Detroiter. He plays William, a man whose entire life spins out of control after one humiliating workplace incident. That single cringe-worthy moment sends him tumbling down a rabbit hole of paranoia and suspicion, leading to the discovery of a sprawling, ridiculous, and totally unexpected conspiracy. And of course, it's Tim Robinson, so you can expect all the absurd, over-the-top comedy moments his fans absolutely love. The show is co-created by Zach Kanan, giving it that sharp, socially satirical edge we've seen from their past work together. And with Adam McKay, the mind behind Succession and Don't Look Up, as producer, you know the tone, timing, and production value are going to be top tier. The cast also includes Lake Bell and Sophia Lillis, who bring great chemistry and comic timing to round out this high-profile ensemble. So why should you check this one out? First, it's creator-driven comedy at its best, coming from one of the most original comedic voices of the decade. Second, it's pure absurdist cringe humor, that perfect mix of uncomfortable and brilliant that keeps you laughing even when you want to look away. Now, I will say, Tim Robinson's style isn't for everyone. If awkward, boundary-pushing comedy makes you squirm, this might not hit the same for you, but for fans of his work, The Chair Company is exactly what you've been waiting for.
Looking back, sometimes I feel like I'm living a life I never was supposed to live.
Up next is a must-see for true crime fans. This is Murdaugh, Death in the Family, that premiered on Hulu on October 15th, but this 8-episode limited series dropped the first 3 episodes on premiere day, with new episodes released weekly, making it perfect for a multi-week binge and discussion. The series is obviously going to be a scripted dramatization of the real-life Murdaugh family saga, which is one of the most compelling true crime stories in recent memory. It dives into the downfall of a powerful South Carolina legal dynasty, chronicling events from the deadly 2019 boat crash involving their son, Paul, to the shocking murders of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh. The story exposes the family's deep secrets, financial crimes, and domestic betrayals, showing how privilege and power can crumble in the face of tragedy. The cast is absolutely stacked. Jason Clarke stars as Alex Murdaugh, the disgraced patriarch. Patricia Arquette plays Maggie Murdaugh, plus Brittany Snow, Johnny Berchtold, Will Harrison, J. Smith Cameron, and Gerald McRaney. First, this is high-profile true crime at its best. The Murdaugh case was called the trial of the century, and this dramatization promises all the tension, betrayal, and intrigue you could hope for. Second, Oscar-winning leads and an A-list cast bring the story to life with real gravitas. And third, the series isn't just about the crime, it's about the human element, the dynamics of a deeply flawed family, and the cascading consequences of power and deception. This is the kind of water-cooler-worthy show that will dominate conversations throughout October. So if you want a binge that's gripping, emotional, and completely timely, Death in the Family is the one to watch.
A terribly flawed woman is now the president, and only we know just how flawed.
Al Weiler, ambassador's wife.
Todd Penn, first lady.
Next up for October is a returning favorite. This is the Diplomat Season 3 that returned to Netflix on the 16th. Now, it's not a brand new series, but with the quick turnaround from Season 2 and that jaw-dropping cliffhanger, this is a perfect binge recommendation for the month. Created by Deborah Kahn, the brilliant mind behind The West Wing and Homeland, The Diplomat blends razor-sharp political intrigue, witty dialogue, and deeply personal drama. Season 3 picks up right where things left off. Kate suddenly finds herself in the middle of an absolute political firestorm. Her estranged husband, Hal Weiler, played by Rufus Sewell, is still scheming while she's juggling escalating US and UK tensions and the growing threat of a catastrophic war. Add to that her complicated relationship with British Foreign Secretary and the presence of the new First Gentleman, Todd Penn, played by Bradley Whitford. So it is safe to say the stakes have never been higher. The cast this season continues to be incredible. Of course, you still have the incredible Kerry Russell and Rufus Sewell, who is back as Hal, but we also get David Gyasi, Ali An, and Otto Asando back, all reprising their roles. Plus, Emmy winners Allison Janney and Bradley Whitford officially joined the main cast. With the first 2 seasons being critical, an audience hit, Season 3 has a lot to live up to, but this show has been able to consistently deliver smart, gripping, high-stakes storytelling with characters that feel complex and real. The writing is sharp, the political tension is constant, and the performances are just phenomenal. So if you love fast-paced political thrillers packed with clever writing, intrigue, and Emmy-worthy performances, The Diplomat Season 3 is absolutely an October must-watch.
Laz is dead. He's dead.
Next up for October, we have a brand new series that's perfect for thriller fans. This is Harlan Coben's Lazarus that premieres on Prime Video Wednesday, October 22nd. And this is a unique one for Prime because all 6 episodes drop at once, making this one the ideal mid-October binge. This is an original story written just for television by best-selling author Harlan Coben, along with BAFTA winner Danny Brocklehurst. the same team behind hits like Fool Me Once and The Stranger. And the story follows Joel Lazarus, a forensic psychologist still haunted by the unsolved murder of his sister 25 years ago. Things take a dark turn when Joel returns home after the apparent suicide of his father, Dr. Jonathan Lazarus, played by Bill Nye. Before his death, Joel's father leaves behind a cryptic note, and soon after, Joel begins to experience strange, unsettling events that defy explanation. At first, he thinks it's just grief, but as these bizarre occurrences intensify, he's forced to confront the possibility that something supernatural might be tied to his sister's cold case murder. The show looks to masterfully blends Coben's trademark twists and turns with an eerie psychological horror element, creating a tense, atmospheric thriller that will keep you on edge from start to finish. I have really enjoyed Harlan Coben's other adaptations, so I am expecting more jaw-dropping twists, sharp writing, and that addictive, binge-worthy pace. Plus, the combination of mystery, psychological tension, and subtle supernatural horror makes this one stand out from his usual grounded thrillers. Now, if you're not into supernatural elements, or if you prefer your mysteries fully rooted in reality, this one might not hit quite the same, but if you love suspenseful, twist-filled mysteries with a dark and haunting edge, Harlan Coben's Lazarus absolutely deserves a spot on your October watch list.
There are reports flooding in about a maniac attacking young couples.
Next up, we've got a gripping new true crime miniseries straight from Italy. And this is the Monster of Florence, premiering on Netflix on the 22nd. And with only 4 episodes, this limited series is perfect for a short, intense binge you can knock out in a single weekend. The show tells the chilling story of one of Italy's most infamous unsolved murder cases. Between 1968 and 1985, a serial killer known as the Monster of Florence terrorized the Tuscan countryside, murdering 8 couples in secluded areas. The killer's signature weapon was a .22 caliber Beretta pistol, and despite decades of investigation, the true identity of the murderer remains a mystery to this day. The series dives deep into the decades-long investigation from multiple perspectives. It explores the suspects, the controversial trials, and the wave of fear that gripped Florence for nearly 20 years. But instead of focusing purely on the gruesome details, the show highlights the human stories, the heartbreak, and the haunting paranoia that still lingers. It looks to leave you questioning whether the monster could have been anyone. This one checks all the right boxes for true crime fans. It's engaging, atmospheric, and beautifully shot. Perfect if you're drawn to historical or international mysteries. Stefano Sollima, who directs this, is said to bring incredible tension and cinematic style, giving it the feel of a big budget thriller while staying rooted in true events. And the best part? It's a limited series. Just 4 tightly written episodes, making it an easy, bingeable experience without any filler. Since this is an Italian production, it is in Italian, and if you are like me and don't speak Italian, you'll need subtitles or dubbing depending on your preference. But again, this is Netflix, so I expect a quality dubbed option. So if you want something suspenseful, beautifully crafted, and deeply thought-provoking, The Monster of Florence is a solid option here in October.
I want couple stationery.
Ooh.
I want you to say, I gotta check with the boss.
Of course, I gotta check with the boss.
And of course, the answer's gonna be no.
Next up is one of the shows that I am most excited about here in October, and this is Nobody Wants This Season 2 that premieres on October 23rd. If you loved the first season as much as I did, this is a sight for sore eyes as we get to see the continuation of the story of Joanne and Noah. Season 2 picks up immediately after the cliffhanger from Season 1, where Noah, played by Adam Brody, seemingly chooses love over career, giving up the coveted head rabbi position for Joanne. Now the focus is on what happens after that choice, how a modern agnostic podcaster and a devoted unconventional rabbi navigate their new life together. The official synopsis promises a season about fully merging their lives and loved ones while grappling with religion, family dynamics, and the practical realities of blending 2 radically different worlds. The returning cast includes Kristen Bell and Adam Brody, as I mentioned, but also Justine Lupi as Morgan, Joanne's co-host and sister whose subplot with Noah's brother continues to entertain, and Timothy Simons as Sasha, Noah's brother. The season also brings some exciting guest stars, including Leighton Meester as Abby, Adam Brody's real-life wife, and Joanne's middle school nemesis, creating a fun meta Gossip Girl reunion. Seth Rogen and Arian Moaid join in major arcs, adding some fresh humor and drama to the mix too. This show has been incredibly funny and constantly delivered relatable relationship drama, blending sharp humor with high-stakes dilemmas as Joanne and Noah navigate cultural and family clashes. So hopefully they can continue that, along with adding some star power and pop culture moments, especially the Leighton Meester and Adam Brody reunion. Nobody Wants This. Season 2 is a perfect pick if you are looking for a rom-com that's funny, heartfelt, and easy to binge in a single sitting.
Who are you?
Talamasca. We watched.
And you're always there.
Always there.
For anyone looking for a brand new series to binge this October, another standout option looks to be Anne Rice's Talamasca, The Secret Order. It premieres Sunday, October 26th, with the first 2 episodes dropping on AMC and AMC+. This 6-episode limited series is one of the most anticipated additions to the ever-expanding Anne Rice Immortal universe, and it's perfect for fans of gothic horror, supernatural intrigue, and dark spy thriller drama. While it's not a direct adaptation of any single Anne Rice novel, it draws heavy inspiration from the secretive Talamasca organization featured in The Vampire Chronicles and The Lives of the Mayfair Witches. This time, though, we're getting a completely fresh story. Set within that same eerie, interconnected universe, the story follows Guy Anatole, played by Nicholas Denton, a brilliant young law student who has always sensed that his mind works differently from everyone else. His life changes forever when he's approached by a representative of the Talamasca, a secret society of psychic detectives that has been monitoring the supernatural world for centuries. Soon, Guy discovers that the Talamasca has actually been watching him since childhood, and he's thrust into a shadowy world filled with immortal beings, psychic spies, and centuries-old conspiracies. The show is described as a supernatural spy thriller, blending the tension and paranoia of espionage with Anne Rice's signature gothic atmosphere. As Guy learns to control his powers, he begins to question whether the mysterious organization that recruited him can truly be trusted, or if they're hiding even darker secrets. This looks like it's going to be a unique genre mashup that merges gothic horror and fantasy with high-stakes espionage. Plus, we get a deeper look at Rice's immortal universe, building on the mythology we've already seen in her other titles. So if you love supernatural storytelling, clever intrigue, and that classic Anne Rice darkness, The Secret Order definitely deserves a spot on your October watch list.
What is that?
For fans of horror and just perfect timing for the Halloween season, Welcome to Derry is one of the most highly anticipated brand new series dropping this October. This series premieres on October 26th on HBO and will be available to stream on HBO Max with 8 episodes releasing weekly. This is a prequel to the Hit It films, exploring the cursed, bloody history of Derry, Maine, decades before the original Losers Club came together. The show promises to dive deep into the town's cycle of violence and, most importantly, the origins of the terrifying entity known as Pennywise. The story introduces a new group of characters, including a family who moves to this seemingly idyllic town. As the family and other characters settle in, they begin to uncover the chilling truth that something ancient and evil lurks beneath the surface, feeding the recurring nightmares that have plagued Derry for generations. The cast brings together both returning talent and new faces. Bill Skarsgård reprises his role as Pennywise the Clown, making his return a massive draw for horror fans. Giovanna Depo and Taylor Page lead the new characters, with Chris Chalk appearing as a younger Dick Halloran alongside James Remar and Madeline Stowe. Behind the camera, the series is developed and executive produced by Andy and Barbara Muschietti, who directed the blockbuster It films. Andy Muschietti also directs multiple episodes, including the pilot, ensuring the show maintains the cinematic horror quality of the movies. Again, the timing couldn't be better, dropping just before Halloween. This is the ultimate seasonal horror binge. The series also expands the It universe, giving fans a detailed look at 1960s Derry and its dark secrets, deepening the lore introduced in Stephen King's novel and the blockbuster films. Plus, Bill Skarsgård back as Pennywise is just absolutely incredible. I am so excited to see him as this character again, and you can expect the same terrifying performance that made the character iconic in modern horror. And with HBO's production values and the Muschiettis at the helm, the series promises cinematic quality on par with the films. On the flip side, there are a few caveats. While the show is a prequel, familiarity with Pennywise and the It universe will most likely enhance the experience. So if you are a newcomer, I suggest you go check out the films right away. But if you are looking for the perfect holiday season binge, there really is nothing better than It Welcome to Derry.
This warden is a real danger.
I'm gonna fix Anchor Bay.
any means necessary.
For viewers who love high-stakes crime drama, Mayor of Kingstown Season 4 is the perfect option for you to check out this October. It premieres Sunday, October 26th on Paramount+. Kicking off with a 2-episode premiere before moving into weekly releases. Co-created by Taylor Sheridan, the powerhouse behind Yellowstone and Tulsa King, the series continues to follow Jeremy Renner's Mike McCluskey, the unofficial mayor of Kingstown. Once again, Mike finds himself trapped in the deadly middle ground between gangs, law enforcement, and the prison system in a city constantly teetering on the edge. Season 4 is said to pick up right after the explosive events of Season 3, where we see chaos erupt as rival factions scramble to fill a power vacuum. The tension is sky high this season as Mike faces an all-out gang war that threatens to consume Kingstown once and for all. A major storyline this season looks to center around Mike's new and volatile relationship with Nina Hobbs, the tough-as-nails prison warden at Anchor Bay, and Hobbs is determined to assert her authority and challenge Mike's long-standing influence inside the prison walls. Their power struggle looks like one of the most compelling conflicts of the season, so if you're into gritty, character-driven crime thrillers filled with complex power struggles, explosive tension, and morally gray heroes, Mayor of Kingstown Season 4 looks like absolutely essential viewing this October with Taylor Sheridan's signature storytelling, Jeremy Renner's powerhouse performance, and an incredible supporting cast.
2 bodies and a disappeared child. Maybe this case could go all the way to the top.
Well, maybe sort of all the way to the middle.
Let's move forward and talk about a thrilling, character-driven mystery, Down Cemetery Road. This brand new series drops Wednesday, October 29th on Apple TV+. Based on the novel by Mick Herron, the same brilliant mind behind Apple TV+'s Emmy-winning Slow Horses. This 8-episode thriller is said to deliver more of what you love from his other work. It's suspenseful, sharply written, and full of dark humor and complex conspiracies that keep you guessing at every turn. The story takes place in a quiet Oxford suburb where a sudden house explosion sets off a shocking chain of events, including the mysterious disappearance of a young girl. A neighbor and art restorer becomes consumed by the need to uncover what really happened. To help her get answers, she teams up with the unconventional private investigator Zoe. The two form an unlikely, odd couple partnership filled with sharp wit, emotional depth, and a whole lot of determination. As they dig deeper into the mystery, they uncover a tangled web of hidden secrets, government cover-ups, and the chilling possibility that some people thought to be dead might still be alive. And with the creative team connected to Slow Horses, including writer and executive producer Morwenna Banks, you can expect the same level of quality, layered storytelling, darkly British humor, and suspense that builds with every single episode. Releasing right at the end of October, Down Cemetery Road feels tailor-made for a late fall binge. It's clever, atmospheric, and filled with twists that'll keep you hooked all the way through to the finale. If you love intelligent thrillers with strong characters, biting wit, and just the right dose of mystery, Down Cemetery Road looks to be something you keep your eye on in October.
Geralt, you've spent a lifetime battling monsters and men. Your entire being.
Last but not least on our list today is probably one of the more controversial options, and this is The Witcher Season 4 premiering on Netflix on October 30th. And obviously this show isn't a brand new series, but it feels fresh thanks to a major change. We see Liam Hemsworth takes over the role of Geralt of Rivia from Henry Cavill. This casting shakeup alone has generated massive buzz and makes the season a must-watch for longtime fans and curious newcomers alike. Season 4 is said to show Geralt, now portrayed by Hemsworth, forging a new group of allies and face fresh challenges as he searches for Ciri. Ciri, still played by Freya Allan, has joined a gang of outlaws known as the Rats, exploring her own path and purpose, while Yennefer takes on a new leadership role as she continues her quest to reunite with her chosen family. The season promises to be darker and more intense, with a strong focus on character dynamics and shifting alliances. Alongside the returning cast, this season introduces some major new characters from the books brought to life by some serious star power. We get Lawrence Fishburne as Regis, the enigmatic barber surgeon with a mysterious past. Charlton Copley plays the deadly bounty hunter Leo Bonhart. James Purefoy appears as the high-ranking spy Skellen, and Danny Woodburn brings the iconic dwarven warrior Zoltan to life. These additions add depth and excitement, opening the door for new conflicts and fresh storylines. For existing fans, this is probably a long-awaited, albeit nerve-wracking continuation, and for newcomers, the buzz alone makes it worth checking out. That said, you should definitely catch up on the first 3 seasons to fully understand the plot. And that's going to do for our list today, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us to the very end. Take a moment to do all the YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe. It really helps us get our recommendations out to others looking for great TV shows and movies to check out from home.